Hi everybody. So I just got done doing a live. Some of you saw it. So I'm going to be doing scalloped potatoes and the green bean casserole. My father insisted on doing the porchetta, so I'm not going to be cooking that, but porchetta, basically you just put it in the oven and roast it low and slow. So I wouldn't be teaching you anything except for how to put it in the oven at 285 for 4.5 to 5 hours. Which is why my dad said that he would do it so that I don't have to do it tomorrow. So I am going to do both the green bean casserole and the scalloped potatoes at the same time because I have 2 ovens. So preheat your ovens to 350 and let's go over the ingredients. Alright, so we're going to be doing the green bean casserole first. It is definitely the easiest. We have our green beans. It's 1.5 pounds of green beans, or 4 cups if you're using not fresh green beans. I use fresh, so it's 1.5 pounds. A can of Campbell's cream and mushroom soup. You can probably use any brand. Just make sure that it is the 10.5 ounces. We have the crispy fried onions. This is literally the recipe that is on the back. So we are going to be using 3/4 cup of milk. And then we're going to be using the fried onions in it and on top of it. So let's get the mix in it. So this is something that is so super easy. You basically just need your baking dish. Sorry if that was loud and annoying. Yeah, so just get your baking dish and we're literally going to throw everything just in this dish and mix it up. So we are going to, let me get out my little spatula. We're going to pour the can of soup in here. We're going to try to. You can mix it in a bowl, but why mix it in a bowl and dirty a bowl when you probably have an entire kitchen full of dirty dishes already? So I want to dirty up as little as possible. I will be making a huge pot of coffee tomorrow. Thankfully we do have an espresso machine, so you throw in your your Campbell soup, your cream and mushroom soup, your 3/4 cup of milk. I'm just gonna stir this together. I do have some fried onions in there because when I measured it, I just poured it over the dish because they're gonna end up all in there anyway. And like I've said before, cooking and baking are totally different. Cooking, the ingredients can be a little bit different. You can add a little more or a little less of something. Baking is exact. You have to have exactly the right ingredients. You can't go over, you can't go under. I will get around to doing cookies. I did not get them for Christmas. I've been too busy with everything else. If you want to dirty up a whisk, you can. It'll probably mash together a little bit easier, but I'm not too concerned about it. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Christmas. By the time you see this, Christmas will be over, so I'm hoping everybody had a great Christmas. I'm gonna go down and check on data afterwards. I'm gonna put the fried onions in now. 2/3 cup. That one's a big one, that's okay though. And we're gonna toss in all of our green beans. I love fresh green beans. You just want to kind of try to coat as much of the soup as you possibly can onto the green beans. which is probably why some people use a bowl. It's easier to mix it, but you just kind of fold it in. It mixes fine. And like I said, I'm not going to dirty any more dishes than I have to. This is one of my dad's favorites and a must-have. Thankfully, it is very easy. So once it's, you know, they're all coated, we are going to try to evenly spread another 2/3 cup. I might do a little extra. So that's a little more than 2/3 of a cup, not much more. But you just sprinkle it on top. I'm probably blocking your view. They keep coming out huge like that. That's okay though. Some people like the huge onions. Oops. I'll put a little bit more. You can do more, you can do less. Also, if you don't like mushrooms, you can use cream of celery soup, which turns out just as good. All right. And we are going to put this in the oven for 30 minutes. And that's it. That is green bean casserole. So it is so super easy to do. And yeah, we'll come back after 30 minutes and see what it looks like. All right. All right, so the lighting on the stove is a little bit better, and I'm gonna get a better angle of me cutting the potato, which I wanted to show you. So this is for the scalloped potatoes, which are different. Scalloped potatoes and potatoes au gratin are different. Scalloped potatoes are not cheesy potatoes. So I actually have, this is my one potato I'm gonna show you how to cut. These are the other 8 potatoes I've already cut. So I'm gonna be using 9 potatoes because they were on the smaller side. But you can use 6 medium to large size potatoes. I'm gonna show you how I cut the onion again. We also have a heaping, I think it was an 1/8. I forgot the recipe, but thankfully it's on my phone. It was, yes, I ended up doing a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and it was a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I did like a heaping teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon, a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then you're gonna use 4 tablespoons of butter and 2.5 cups of milk. I do have the milk. I left it over on the side so I don't end up cutting it. Here's my milk. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. It's 11 o'clock at night, Christmas Eve. So you want to take your 4 tablespoons, cut 3, and then cut up in tiny bits the other 1 tablespoon. All right, so let's cut this potato and cut this onion. Okay, so I'm doing it this side, just so you can see me cutting the potato. So this potato, I picked this one because it's one of the larger ones, and it's kind of skinny at the top and fatter at the bottom. So if you have a mandolin, that's perfect. I don't. So I just try to eyeball it, and I start at the skinny side because it's easier to handle the bigger side. So make sure you watch your fingers. They don't have to be perfect, but pretty darn close. I'm trying to push the other potato slices out of my way. So once you start feeling like you're getting too close to your fingers, which I don't know if you can see how close I'm getting, I turn the potato on its side like this, and I just kind of slice this way. So it kind of, this way I'm not going to risk cutting my fingers. once your potatoes are all sliced up, hopefully you can see this, I'll bring this over here. You just kind of line them all up wherever they fit. And just kind of make them look kind of pretty. Although they're all going to be covered up and baked, and shove some of these in here. Alright, so those are our potatoes. We're going to slice our onion really quick. So I go down. I overlapped my cut right there, which is okay. I go all the way around the onion. This prevents you from crying. I've done this in a few videos. And then you turn the onion this way and just slice it straight down. And it kind of dices the onion for you, so you're not crying. And it's super quick. All right, now let's throw everything in the pot. Okay, so what I did forget to mention is the oven is preheated to 350. I did spray some cooking spray in the bottom of the dish that I'm using, that the potatoes were in. So now we're back and we're going to make basically our sauce. So you're going to take your 3 tablespoons of butter, and we are going to melt that over medium heat. So I wonder how many people stay up super late cooking on Christmas Eve. I'm doing it just because I'm going to have kids to take care of tomorrow instead of cooking. We are going to be eating a little bit on the earlier side. Guests are arriving at 2. We'll probably be eating at 3. Because the girls go to bed at 6:30. So a lot of families eat at 5. That is, they'll be eating some leftovers around 5:30, but you know, we want them to be able to spend as much time as possible. So our family's coming when the girls wake up from their nap. We'll be exchanging gifts. But yeah, it's easier for me to pre-cook everything, stick it in the refrigerator, and just heat it up. You know, stick it in the oven and heat it up right before everybody gets here. So to heat everything up, I usually just put the ovens on at 350 and put everything in there for about 15 minutes. And then turn the ovens down to 185. And that just keeps it warm instead of cooking it through again. So this way it'll be nice and hot and like I freshly cooked it. So hopefully you can see the bottom of this pan. You can a little bit. So we're gonna put in the I think the onions, right? Yes. I'm gonna put in the onions. We're gonna cook them until they're nice and soft and tender. So it is pretty late at night right now, later than my normal bedtime, so my brain's not quite firing. So I forget a lot of things, which is why I keep having to look back at the recipe a lot. So I'm probably going to speed this part of the video up, but you want to kind of saute it for probably about 2 minutes. Okay, so one thing I did forget, so my camera actually just shut off. It's getting too hot. One thing that I did forget was the 3 tablespoons of flour that we are going to add. So once your onion and butter mixture is nice and tender and sizzly and bubbly, we're going to throw in 3 tablespoons of flour. We're going to put in our salt, and we are going to put in our pepper, and we're going to stir it all up. I'm going to turn the heat off. Just because I have an electric oven or electric stove. So I'm going to grab my milk. We're going to pour that in as well. And we're going to make sure that we constantly are stirring. I'm sorry that my hand's probably blocking the camera. I'll try to turn a little bit for you. So I'm constantly stirring. Our 2½ cups of milk. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat back on. I just didn't want to burn my onion roux. And we're going to keep stirring this because we don't want to burn our milk at the bottom. And we're going to bring it all to a boil. So it should not take long. Remember, your heat is at medium. Depending on if you have a gas or an electric stovetop, may make your roux boil faster. I guess it's a sauce, it's not quite a roux. I'm not trained as a cook or a chef. I just enjoy it, so some of the words I use or terms I use may not be appropriate or the correct word. And like I said, it's also 11 o'clock at night, so my brain is a little scrambly. There's a little piece of onion stuck on there. I'm going to scrape that off. There it goes. So, let's see. Oh, you shouldn't hear the timer go off. So I do have the string bean casserole in the oven. It's got 11 more minutes. This is going to be in the oven for quite some time. We're going to bake it covered for 30 minutes and then bake it again uncovered for another hour and 10 minutes. So I am going to be up well past 12:30. But I was not expecting so many of you lovely, awesome people to actually watch my live stream. All right, so we brought that to a boil, which you may not be able to see it. Okay, so our sauce is done. And we are simply going to just pour it over the potatoes as I hit everything in its path. It'll all seep in there because we are going to cover it. I'm going to move this a little bit. Get a little in this corner, get a little in this corner. And I keep hitting that. That sure sounds lovely, doesn't it? And that's why I am the Hot Mess Express. So once we spread our little sauce over top of it, we're gonna take that last tablespoon of butter, and we've cut it into small bits, and we're just gonna try to spread them out as evenly as possible. I'm gonna do this quick because my camera keeps turning off because it's overheating. So the butter's melting in my hands. So get it as evenly as possible. It's all gonna run together. And then we're gonna cover it in tinfoil and we're gonna bake it for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'll come back and I'll let you know what we're doing. All right, so our green bean casserole is finished. I'm trying to get a shot without the camera shadow. There we go. Green bean casserole is finished. And our 30 minutes is up. We're gonna take the tinfoil off on our scalloped potatoes. So now we're going to put the scalloped potatoes back in the oven for another hour. We're going to check it after an hour. If they look well cooked, then we're going to take it out, let it cool, put it in the fridge for tomorrow. They may need another 10 minutes, so it could be an hour, it could be an hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to get this back in the oven and we'll be right back. Alright, so I left that for an hour and 10 minutes, and you can definitely tell it's done because the edges of the potato have gotten a little crispy. And that's how you do scalloped potatoes. So I hope everybody has had a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care, have a good night. Merry Christmas.